Make a sound too.
How about that?
Yeah, it's a good setting the vibrations
Seems
right.
like there needs to be a bullfight on there too.
Bullfight. Oh, yeah.
And some like brass instruments. Yeah.
There's a bull statue somewhere over there. So
Yeah.
we are in Devconnect bleachers here, and what's your name and what do you do?
I'm Austin Griffith. I do developer growth at the Ethereum Foundation. Do that through education, tooling, going to universities, doing lots of workshops, a little bit of grants here and there.
Great. I'm a developer, so that's very and I know you've been from like the early tutorials, like early in like 2021. I saw your tutorials and building on like Uniswap protocols, and then you built like speedrun Ethereum, and I just saw a lot of content and it was like very helpful. So can you tell me like your story, just overall, like getting into crypto and how you found like your edge and how you like grew your skill set and your kind of impact that you've done?
Yeah, I think when Ethereum first came out, I was deep down like a Docker rabbit hole doing DevOps and things like that. And I remember I had a DevOps app that I had created that was like orchestration on top of Docker. And it made sense to open source it so other people could use it. Like our little 30-person company was using it, and my boss wouldn't let me open source it, and it was really lame. And I think that kind of weaponized me a little bit into open source. Then I found Ethereum smart contracts, and when I realized the implications of what a smart contract was, this kind of like always on, immutable program that has an address that people can send money to, and it can send money around, and you're programming money, and you know the always on can't go down, can't be censored. There was just some really interesting things there, and as I dug more into the Ethereum ecosystem, I just kind of fell in love with the ethos of it. Kind of almost like the come for the money, stay for the ethos. Like I could program money, but then learning about everything and the ethos of Ethereum drew me closer, and so I learned everything I could about it. And then I built a game or two, but it was like way too early. It was like 2017. I would say that the wallets were trash, but like most wallets are still trash. Like,
what was the game about? How did it work?
It was cool. So it was a resource management game where it was called Galleass, and there were these ships, and figuring out movement on chain was different because you're not like ASD moving around on chain, right? What you would do is you would send a transaction to put up your sails, and your ship would sail. Each block that got mined, the ship would move a certain amount. So you had movement on chain, the clouds, everything in the game was all on chain, and the clouds would move. So each time a block would be mined, you would see the ships all move and the clouds move. And it was these set of islands where there was resource extraction happening, so you could buy a tile, you could get woods or greens or other things from the tiles, you could trade those things to a marketplace, you could craft and build other things. But no one cared. I brought it to ETH Denver in 2018 and had it on my phone and showed a few people, and it really had that, everyone says this when they build an app that no one gets it, but it really had this like no one gets it vibe where like I'm showing people like an app where I'm using a burner wallet to make transactions by just clicking, and everything is happening live, and all these ships are moving.
Did people try playing it?
Yeah, I mean, like I had a few people play it. In the end, there were like all these ships all over the place that people had deployed in and moved around, and people had bought tiles, but it didn't catch on. And now I can always have like this, like empathy with new people coming into the space where they also have this no one cares, no one gets it feeling where, half of it is you. You need to improve your product, you need to improve your marketing, you need to get out there and have people use it and use that feedback to improve. But the other half is exposure, and you need to get exposure and get out there and show things. So the game didn't resonate well, but what did resonate was I started doing almost like DevRel for Ethereum. I started showing off how burner wallets could work. I started showing off how meta transactions worked. I started building my own tooling and showing off tooling. And that's where I built up a following within the Ethereum space. And then I kind of used that following to channel building more tools, getting more developers to do what I was doing, and then eventually like education and onboarding.
Cool. I also built like a game to like learning JavaScript back in the day, like a 2D tank battalion game, and I was like, oh, I could see that the magic of like you just put your build something and keep building it, and like you can really go infinitely. And also Elon Musk did the same, like built like this game, and he was featured in like a magazine and a newspaper as like, and I think that was also important to be like, having some feedback and like somebody being like, whoa, this is really incredible, and that can give you a lot of push, and because then you're like connected with an audience and a public.
I feel like that's why I do a lot of what I do is people using the things. It's such a good feeling when people use the things you build. So like that moment when a bunch of people are using something that you've built and it's working and they're all having this aha moment is such a good feeling.
Well, so how did you build up a following? Was it through like YouTube tutorials or like written blog posts, Twitter?
So yeah, I think it was a combination of things. I think doing that early DevRel and just like getting on calls and tweeting and like constantly building. I had like Bowtie Fridays where I would build something and ship it on Friday, and then build a new thing and ship it on Friday, and build a new thing. So it was always like, okay, state channels are hot. Let's learn how to make a state channel. And then I would spend the week building a state channel app, and then on Friday I would get on a video call and do the state channel live and show people how to build their own state channels or something. Like I would just do that on repeat for a long time, and so there was a lot of that kind of building things and showing them off, building in public, and then every once in a while you catch lightning in a bottle and you have something neat where a bunch of people use it, and then they come find you and follow you on Twitter and that kind of stuff.
I see. Like there's so many awesome things you can like create and build, and always like new technologies, new like platforms, new paradigms coming. And like one thing I'm wondering to ask you about is like how do you go about like deciding like Steve Jobs talks about like you have to say no to a lot of things that you're like just dying to do to focus to build something like really good, really great. How do you think about this? Like, how do you find that thing you want to like commit to, like work on, focus on?
So I think like crypto Twitter is kind of a cesspool, but it also has a wealth of knowledge and a ton of really interesting people following the space and tweeting about it. So I think following trends that happen on crypto Twitter is a helpful way to be able to have successful tweets. Like right now, X402 is hot, ERC8004 is hot, agent-to-agent stuff is hot, AI is hot, stable coins are hot, prediction markets are hot. If you can do something that uses AI to make, a set of oracles that resolves prediction markets, and you do that like in a weekend, and then you tweet about it, like that kind of thing gets good traction on Twitter. And also like you learn from Twitter the kinds of things that Twitter likes, and so just like by following Twitter you kind of catch the meta and the trends a little more.
Like participating where in the flow and the conversations and contributing to the conversation. All right, cool. Speaking of like AI agents and agent economies, I was just at the Trustless Agents Day. Like, what do you think about this topic? Like, are you there any like specific like applications or like apps that like you think are really interesting?
Well, I was on stage showing off a X402 slot machine, which is not interesting, but more fun and a fun little demo. It was like a provably fair co-op as the house X402 slot machine. That was fun, but not really the most interesting thing. I think the meta is very interesting, though. I think 8004 and agent to agent and the agent economy is going to be really good, and I think that settling it or having some kind of reputation and discovery layer on Ethereum is really powerful. And this is ERC 8004. So ERC 8004 is an agent registry where there's baked in reputation. And so the example I always use is you have an agent and it's your marketing agent, and you tell that agent to run some ads and tell you which ones work, and you give it $1,000. It needs to go to a copywriting agent and an image generating agent and use those to make some ads and run those ads and see how they work. And what it can do is it can kind of iterate. It can go to an 8004 registry that says here's all the agents that make copy and here's all the agents that make images, and you could pick the one with the best reputation and have it give you some images, and pick the one with the best copy and have you give you some copy. Then you run those ads and see how well they do. Maybe you pick the top 5 of each one of those and have them each make 5, and then run all of those ads and see which ones do best, and then come back and then iterate on that process. All while you're sleeping, you could have this agent that's running these ads that's paying these other agents to do some work that is all this speed of light iteration that's happening, which is really interesting. So I think the 8004 like agent meta and like X402 payments, like that whole thing is like really interesting. And like my whole workflow has changed. Like I don't write a lot of code anymore. I'm prompting Claude and Cursor in agent mode, and it's like one-shotting features for me. So my even ability to build has completely changed thanks to agents and AI.
I agree. Like just imagining like the implications of like having agent-to-agent economies is really mind blowing. I was like explaining it to somebody earlier, and like even for example, like an agent that summarizes things or like videos or talks, and you can just like ask, give me a summary of all the talks at Devconnect yesterday, and that would be like just one specialized task, and that would be like very, very valuable. What else? Any other topics that's like top of mind for you recently?
Yeah, I think that like we have been maybe too focused on developer education and tooling. Even though education and tooling is important, we've got a lot of education out there. Speedrunethereum.com is a great place. If you're a developer, you can go to speedrunethereum.com and learn how to build on Ethereum. All of that is good, but I think we as an ecosystem need to focus more on the builder to founder pipeline. And the final goal is apps running in the Ethereum ecosystem that are getting users, right? We need more people building more things that more people are using. So working backwards from that, we need more founders founding projects. We need more builders building things and putting them on chain. And to get to that, I think we need a pipeline that kind of helps builders get to that point through education, mentorship, but also like maybe meeting founders. I think the hackathon meta is a little broken right now. Like we see people basically going to hackathons, figuring out 5 sponsor prizes and building a thing that implements those 5 sponsor prizes, rather than what does the space need, how do we push the space forward, what is hot, and how do we build on top of it. It's more like, how do I get paid and cover my costs for flying here, right? Mm-hmm. So I think the hackathon meta is broken. We need to do something like a hackathon that forces people to ship and gets people together and lets them meet their possible co-founder, but it needs to be a builder to founder or getting to mainnet with an actual project kind of pipeline. Yeah, and that's like an important thing that we need to start working on.
I see. Yeah, I still love hackathons for like learning new tech and experimenting and just getting out of into a new field and working with new people. And I feel like there's a lot of different people come in for different reasons. But also I love what you said. Like I also agree. Like having more like things around all the other aspects of being a founder. There's a lot more to it. And I think I imagine like I love martial arts, and like going to like class like you have a teacher, and but also you have like you work with others, peers, and like I think something like that for like founders or startups would be cool, like a program, like something like that. What do you think?
Cool. Yeah. I think there's something about coming to a hackathon that gets you realizing that, like, wow, this space is deeper and the people that are involved in it are smarter than I expected, and I'm not just gonna like show up and make $1 million. Like, there's a lot more to this, and I have a lot of learning to do. And I think when you're at home in your silo, you think, I just built this ship game and everything's moving around, and damn, am I smart, and I'm gonna make money. But then you show up and you realize, like, this whole space is gonna take years to really evolve, and there's so much to learn, and there's so many really smart people working on these really hard problems that there's just so much more to go to get to that point of success.
Exactly, yeah. And you see all, like, the internet brings out, like, there's so many smart people out there in the world, and hackathons, you get to meet them in person. It's like, it's really inspiring. All right, well, yeah, thanks for chatting and sharing all your knowledge.
Yeah, thank you. Go speedrun Ethereum. Sorry, get you there.
Yeah. Say speedrun Ethereum.
Go speedrun Ethereum.